What is up, YouTube? Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. We are back with another video. Today I'm going to take you through my push day, and I'm going to get you into some details with my execution and my cues that I like to keep in mind to get the most out of these movements that you're going to see. I hope everybody gets the most out of this. I'm going to give you my tips and my cues so you can perfect those movements that you're going to see and get the most out of them, and try to connect as much as you can and nail the execution as much as you can with them so you can get some real gains out of them. So we're gonna break down the whole session for today, and then we're gonna start getting into details while explaining the whole process behind why I do things. So for today's workout, we're gonna have triceps, chest and delts by this order. We're gonna start with overhead tricep extensions, single hand on the cables, cuffed. We're gonna do 2 working sets there of 10 to 15 reps by 2-second pause in the 2-second count pause on the stretch, so we can make sure that we load that tricep on that lengthened position, because that's where most muscle get a lot out of that position, and especially trying to get slow out of that position will bring big benefits for us, as is the position that loads the muscle the best and gives the best amount of and drives the best amount of stimulus, in my opinion, especially on exercises that are set it up on that are set it up correctly, like overhead tricep extensions. Then we're gonna jump over into some cable flies for the mid pec, which we're gonna have with some seated on some bench with the pad behind our back, so we can get that full stretch. We're gonna have 3 working sets here, 8 to 10 reps paused in the stretch. The pad behind the back will help a lot with the shoulder retraction, so we can get that full range of motion and get into that deep stretch without rounding our shoulders forward. Then we're gonna get into some dips. Here we're gonna take 2 working sets, 6 to 9 reps with a 2-second pause in the stretch to make sure we reduce load exposure and keep it as strict as possible and stay upright. We're gonna let those shoulders free to move into retraction and then into protraction, free onto the eccentric part of the rep. So 2 sets of 6 to 9 reps here. Then we're gonna jump over into some Smith machine low incline press. We're gonna do 2 working sets there, 8 to 10 reps. Have a nice little pause at the stretch, then drive hard into the lockout. 2 working set, 8 to 10 reps here. We sink the bar into our chest. We make sure we don't use any momentum, so we have a little pause right there, and then we drive hard up. Then into some machine flat press. This is one that I really like, and in my opinion is one of the best flat presses. I like this a lot. We're gonna do 2 working sets here, 8 to 12 reps, where we make sure we spend time into the contraction and into the stretch as well. So both ranges, we make sure we pause to prevent momentum and to take any secondary muscle out as much as we can. Then we're gonna jump over into some cuffed single arm cable laterals. Here we're gonna have 3 working sets of 10 to 15 reps, pause top and bottom, and we're trying to make this hurt as much as we can. So here on the laterals, I've been and on the flies that I mentioned earlier, I've been increasing a little bit my volume by just a set. So, and been responding pretty well. My body been responding very, very well, even visuals, but even I feel very good, fresh. I don't see any issue, been progressing with it. So I guess we holding this for a little while. Then into the overhead tricep extensions, I forgot to mention, we're gonna have the second set as a Meyer rep set, which means is kind of like a rest pause set where you do the first working set to failure or close to failure. Then on the second set, you try to match the reps, and whatever you get, whatever you have left, as you couldn't get the same as the first one, if it was to failure, you try to match that up after 10 to 15 seconds. So you take 3 or 4 deep breaths, and then you try to make that up to match the reps from the first set. And this is a method that I use only on small body parts, mostly arms, not even side delts or rear delts yet. I like this mostly on arms, as for other body parts it will be really hard to recover. And for arms it's not a really big deal, it hasn't been so far, so we're keeping it in, been progressing and been liking it a lot, so nothing to change. At the beginning and at the end of every session, we're gonna have our hanging stretches, as you all know, to have some healthy shoulders and to stretch that lower back. Then into the end, it's gonna be a day of posing, because I do practice posing 2 to 3 times a week. Today is a day we're gonna have some posing, which I'm not sure you're gonna see or not. This will be decided later. So, won't waste much more time. I'm gonna get you straight into it, and I hope everybody likes it, enjoys it, and try and take something from it. This is one of my primal work exercises, the single arm cuffed cable pullover. Usually, as some of y'all know, I start every single one of my workouts with some primer work. I do like this to kind of get my mind ready for the workout and get some blood flow as well on the muscles that I'm trying to work. In this case, get some blood work, get some blood flow into my lats, so it can help with a better posture. Other than this, I do the hanging stretches for this session. I do the cable flies and cable crunches. On those primers, we try to get our mind as much into the game as possible and go into full ranges of motion, feel those muscles full of blood, and contract as hard as possible. First working set of the session, here at the single arm cable cuffed tricep extension. Here we have the 2-second pause at the bottom, as we said, and then we fully extend at the top. I like to stay a little bit aware of that extension of the elbow at the top, as I don't want the elbow joint to take lots of tension. So I just stop right before it happens fully. So I stay safe, and I keep the whole load into the tricep. Then we come slowly into the stretch, keeping the contraction and keeping each rep as tidy as possible. We don't want execution to break at any point, but we want each rep to make it as hard and as perfect as possible. And as of any other exercise, here we're trying to keep that core braced hard. We'll do 2 working sets here of 10 to 15 reps, as I said, and the second working set will be a myo rep set. First working set we hit 10 reps, so now into the second working set. This was a 9 rep set into the first one, and then we added an additional rep after 15 to 20 seconds, so we could match up, as I said. And this is what I mean by a myo rep set. Is like a rest pause set, while we take all the way to failure the first part of the second set, and then we match up the reps after 10 to 15 second break. First working set of the second exercise, which is cable flies. Here, as I said, we keep the pad behind our back so it can help us with fully retracting those scapulars and get into those deep ranges of motion and deep stretch. There we have a pause at the stretch then to prevent momentum, and we drive those elbows together. We think of driving them elbows together and not touching our hands. So bicep through pec here. We have a pause at the contraction as well and try to hold that contraction on the way down then, while keeping the arm path in line with our pecs. Goal with our training is to keep the same composure throughout the whole set, and we try to make each rep look the same. First rep looks same like the last one. This is hard to do in practice and easy to say in theory, but it's what brings true value into our hypertrophy training. Second working set, now we backed off on the weight a little bit so we could have a little bit of a higher rep range. First set was 8 reps, now this set is 9 reps. Same thing with the cues and the tips here, nothing changes. We try to keep the same composure throughout the whole set and try to keep each rep tidy and perfect. Third and last working set of this exercise, we're keeping the same weight as the second set, as I thought I could get 8 reps here strictly, and I did actually, and it felt pretty good. So sometimes I may back off on the third set, sometimes I may go with the same weight. That all depends on how I feel and how I really saw the second set go. So the second set here went pretty smooth, and I thought for the third set it was not needed to back off the weight even more, but keep the same weight and drop just a rep. This is as well a merit that we take from not taking any 50-50 reps, but keeping it clean throughout the whole set and taking each rep as perfect as possible, and not taking any rep that we are not sure that we can contract and fully complete or not. Top set of the dips now, we have here 2.5 plates. This was, I believe, for 7 reps. As I said, here we want to spend some time into that deep stretch, have a 2-second pause there so we can prevent momentum and reduce load exposure as much as possible. And then into the contraction we let the shoulders free to move so we can fully shorten that pec. Into the stretch, then we retract the scapula so we can fully open up the pecs and stretch them as much as possible. We want to make sure we stay upright and super strict with this, and I truly believe that with dips they serve lots of benefit on building that chest, shoulders and triceps. 7 reps on this set. Then we got into the back of set, which we got a 10 out, and we did 2 plates for 7 or 8 reps, but it's not filmed. Now it's the first working set of the Smith machine press. Here we have 2 working sets of 8 to 10 reps. We want to make sure we keep that wrist straight here, elbows in. We have the pause at the bottom, as I said, to prevent momentum. Then we have a hard lockout. We spend some time into that contraction as well. Make sure we don't have any back arching and we keep that core braced hard. Legs fully on the ground to create as much stability as possible, as stability is a big thing with training, because the more stable you are, the more load you will move. Got 8 reps here, and as you can see, I don't try any other rep that I don't know if I can fully complete or not. And this then shows the benefit and the merit on the back off set, which we're gonna see now, that we don't need to back off a lot on the weight, but just a little, and we can match up the reps as well. Here I'm drinking my intro workout, which is 35 grams of cyclodextrin, and I truly believe this helps a lot to hold and maintain a very good performance throughout the session. And now into the back off, we keep the same cues and tips in mind here. We make sure that we don't arch, because this is a thing that I see lots of people do on their chest training, but this then will not bring us any benefit on the upper chest, as the upper chest is biased by the arm path and not by the arch or by the bench height. So to bias the upper chest, we want that arm path to move from a low plane of motion to a high plane of motion, and if we arch, we risk to get that out and not do that properly. Now into the first working set of the machine flat press, which I like a lot. Here we want to make sure the same thing, we stay braced hard, we don't have any arch, and that's why I'm keeping the platforms at my legs as well, so it can lift my legs up a little bit and make it easier for me to stay braced hard, to stay tight, and not have any arching on my back, but keep a neutral spine. Other than this, we keep those elbows in, wrist straight. We make sure we spend some time at that bottom and at the top as well. We contract and we hold the contraction on the way down. Same thing here as well for the back off. We didn't back off lots of weight, as if you can get a strict set and not have any sloppy reps by the end of it. You can still have a decent amount of load on your back off or on the second working set and match the reps or have slightly higher reps, like we are doing here. We did on the first set 8 reps, and now we backed off on the weight very little and we got 9 reps. Another thing I do here, and I like it a lot, is I put those 5 kg plates at the bottom of the machine, so it can lift up a little bit my handles, and I don't go into passive ranges of motion and around my shoulders, and that can then because that can then prevent the injuries that can happen. And before, I've had some issues with some clavicular pain, so I try to make sure that doesn't happen, and I get into the set safe and comfortable and thinking about just making that set as painful as possible. Beautiful set here, and the goal with any set is to make the muscles move the weight and not just move the load for the sake of it from the point A to point B. And that's the thing with hypertrophy training and muscle building training, to try and make sure we get the most out of it and deliver the biggest amount of stimulus. So here I am doing my homework now with my logbook and logging the reps and load. Now into the last exercise of the session, first working set at the single arm cuffed cable laterals. This is one of my favorite exercises for side delts, but as I can see here, I had done a little mistake while bringing my hand too much in front of me. And listen, this is a merit of filming your sets, because you can actually see what you've done wrong and you didn't notice throughout the set. So this is something to fix and an opportunity to improve for my next time here. Here we're trying to have 3 working sets of 10 to 15 reps while pausing top and bottom to make this hurt and prevent momentum. We want the hand to be a little bit in front of us, but just to have it on the frontal plane of motion, but just 10 to 15 degrees in front of our rib cage, nothing more, like I'm doing here. And then we want to have the cable right above our knee and drive those fists down and out to the sides and not just up. It would have been ideal to hold somewhere like I'm doing here onto the cable, so we can create as much stability as possible. We stay strongly braced with our core and the legs fully on the ground. We don't move throughout the set, we don't shake. This was the second working set. Here with all of my working set, I try to keep them above 10 reps, as on muscles like this it's hard to really connect and control the weight if you go very low rep ranges. So I like to keep anything above 10 with these kind of exercises and muscles, so I can fully focus on the execution and get the best amount of stimulus drove into the muscle. Even though we are using a cuff on this exercise, I still like to keep something to hold into something, so I can make sure I can create some pressure within that wrist. So that's why I'm holding this thing right here. We wrap this session with this last working set of the session, which was pretty nailed and loved it a lot. Still, we can make improvements for next time, as training can never be perfect and can always improve, but you just need to be open for it and be ready to take responsibility. Alright guys, so this was for today's video as well. I hope everybody liked it, everybody enjoyed it, took something from it, learned something new. I'm trying to keep these videos up as much as I can and show the support back to you guys. And if you all want to show some support as well to me by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, I will really appreciate it. And if you all have any preference on any video in particular that you want to see from me, or any tip, training session, full day of eating or whatever, let me know in the comments or on the private, and I'll try to keep you all updated with that one as well. So that was for today. Hope you all liked it, and till next time, I'm out.